Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I'm your guest host. My name is Dr. Nasser, and we've got something great on tap for you. It's another one of the Vice debates. This time, it's between Latinos or Hispanics, and it's Latin Americans, Latin conservatives versus Latin liberals. We're going to get to all that, folks, in just the next few seconds. But before we do so, we hope that you subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. Let's get to part one of Latin Americans in America.
These are man-made borders. I don't care. I care about people.
Sadly,
Period.
that's just the way we live. Like there's a million Venezuelans that are in Colombia.
Yes, you care so much about American people. Congratulations. I'm not like that. I'm sorry. I do think about my community back home. You assimilate to Americanness, and that is
saying
good.
back home, but this should be home now.
You should want to make America great.
I'm Paola Ramos, and I host a show for Vice that's called Latinx. The whole idea behind the show is to really look into the stories and the voices and the issues that are typically left out of the conversation, right? Like what are people not talking about? One of the big things in the show is to break stereotypes, right? To really drive the point that our community is not a monolith. No, this is what we're looking into, and that's why you're here. Because we want to see and show the right side of Latinos, the left side of Latinos, and everyone that's in between. And maybe we can find common ground, maybe not. And before I start, I also do want to remind you all that 2020 is around the corner. And as you all know probably, our community has just become the largest minority voting bloc in the country. So all your answers today are literally worth like millions of dollars for politicians that may be looking into this, right? So just keep that in mind. So let's begin. Very simple question. Raise your hand if you voted for Donald Trump.
So here you see people that vote for Donald Trump here, here, and obviously here. And I think this is going to be, so far, like I said, now the whole premise is that this girl who's a moderator says she's got a program called Latinx. You know, if you poll Latinos, Hispanics, or whatever, they will tell you. I think that name is only popular among 2 to 3%. The majority, well over 70-80%, don't like that terminology of Latinx or Latino X or whatever the heck X they put on there. So just some food for thought as we're going through this. Remember that, because they keep referring, or she keeps referring to it as Latinx, Latinx.
Okay, why did you vote for Donald Trump?
It was really hard to get behind him at first, especially with his rhetoric and the media and how he was portrayed through the media. I was definitely influenced heavily by that, but I also really did not like Hillary Clinton as far as policy-wise. So it was really hard to vote for Donald Trump, but now that we've had a few years of him and seeing his policies, I'm happy that I voted for him.
Well, I voted for him because I've been a lifelong Republican. A lot of my views aligned with what he ran on. I definitely did not like Hillary Clinton, and I stood against everything she stood for, which is the political machine in Washington. I wanted someone new, someone from the outside. And, Trump is, he's not a spoken politician. The way he talks about things, the way he doesn't parse his words. And I kind of like that.
For those of you that did not vote for Trump, do you have any questions for them? For the ones that did vote for Trump?
Where do you begin?
I would love to answer that.
As a woman, how, Sway?
I'm thinking that you're referencing to the one phrase that everyone loves to reference to about grabbing, right?
That phrase, just any way he treats his women, the way he treats his daughter, his rhetoric on Twitter, like anything. He's a creepazoid. But continue. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Joe Biden's definitely not a creep.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it said. Joe Biden's definitely not a creepazoid. And Clinton definitely was a creepazoid having sex with an intern in the office, right? That's not there. And all the other Democrats, okay, that portray the family values, but are absolute, like her word was, creepazoids. So when it comes to being a creep, when it comes to being a so-called, let's say, womanizer, male chauvinist, patriarchal society, then all of a sudden Donald Trump, boom, hey, he fits into that character right there. That's Trump all by itself. But as we said, forget about Joe Biden and his, antics of bordering on pedophilia or whatever. At the very least, in terms of that, or Clinton and his sexualization of women, in the Oval Office, as well as when he was governor of Arkansas. It dates back a long time before that. Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, who he ended up having to pay, I think, $750,000, I believe. A settlement sealed, obviously. Anyway, so let's continue. We know we're going to get some stuff from this girl over here, some feistiness over here. I'm sure we're going to get some feistiness over here too, but let us continue.
There's plenty of creepazoids out there, but as far as, I'm just gonna use what most people use when they talk about that and him referencing grabbing women by the, he was talking about women who let you grab you by that, and there's plenty of groupies out there that will do that, and they have been in existence for a long time. And they're gonna be existing for forever. So that's what he's referencing to. And me, being a woman, I don't carry myself that way. So I didn't feel any type of way about that phrase because I'm not letting people do that to me. So he's not talking about me. So I just, women who put themselves in that position and are doing that, they asked for it. That's what they're out there doing.
So you're saying, you're pretty much saying the same thing as a woman walking down the street with a miniskirt deserves to get raped.
No.
That's the same thing, honey.
No, that's not a groupie.
And there we go. There you have it. Right from the left, immediately go right to rape. Immediately go right to, go from not even take the slow walk. Okay, just absolutely run to rape basically immediately and say, hey, yeah, that same thing you're saying is a girl wearing a miniskirt. She asked for it. Unbelievable. It's just amazing how, right away, leftists, they're liberals, they're just conditioned that way. It's like Pavlov's dogs, as soon as you hear the political bell of anything Republican, it's like, boom, straight to it. Never fails, never fails.
That's not a groupie. A groupie is someone who purposely hangs out with people who are rich and with money and looking for handouts. They're asking for them, putting themselves in that position. That's the people I'm talking about. It's not people like what you wear.
Those people can still be raped.
That's not how. What?
Those people can still be raped.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Like it still be a.
But yeah, I didn't say that. That's not what I'm talking about. That's really taking a stretch.
From what I heard, that recording. He was like, sometimes I see a woman and I just can't resist but my lips and I just grab them by the pussy.
It didn't go like that, and I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Hillary. But at that moment, when that offended me, I didn't know the context of it, which is what she's trying to explain. Obviously, the media and radio likes to cut things in bits and pieces so that you only hear the bad stuff, and they obviously frame it so that you do think, oh, he's talking about raping women. He's talking about grabbing them by the, private parts, and that's just how he is. He's a terrible person. His daughter being a creep, whatever it is. He was talking about groupies. I mean, I have hung out with my very wealthy friends and around groupies. These women don't care. They're the ones also grabbing males' private parts. They're the ones that will twerk for $1. Okay, I was just recording on my phone. I was at the Standard last Saturday, and a big yacht drove by full of women in thongs, and all of them were twerking. All of them were doing grotesque, awful things, and the guys were just there pouring champagne on them. And those are groupies. Those are women that.
Is that okay?
Want to be seen
no,
that way,
it is not.
So,
what this is the most ridiculous thing for me as a woman. Nobody has a right to touch your body. I don't care if you put your tetas in their face. If you say no, nobody should touch you. I don't care what you're wearing or what you're doing. I don't care if you could be so-called respectable. Nobody still ever has a right to violate you in any kind of way. And it doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you come from. It doesn't matter what you look like. I don't care if you're rubbing on him. From the moment that you say no.
Yeah, but I think you're referring to rape.
I completely agree. Nobody's arguing with that.
What are other questions that you all have for one of the Latino Trump supporters that are here? Another question.
My question has to do with the fact that people always claim that Trump is outside the political realm.
of being bought. How do you see him as outside the political realm? Is
He
my
came
question.
from the private sector. He didn't come from a lifetime of quote unquote public service where these people make millions of. Don't get yourself confused. Bernie Sanders is a multimillionaire with 3 homes. Anyway, all I'm saying is that, yes, I see what you're saying, that they're all wealthy people, but at least he came from the private sector. At least he, worked himself for that money. And yes, I know you're going to say, well, he took $1 million loan from his dad. Still worked for something. Whereas you have career politicians. Bernie Sanders has never held a job in his whole life, not one. Yet he's worth millions of dollars on a salary of $180,000 a year. Can you do the math for me on that? Because
let's
I can't.
twist it around now. For those of you that did vote.
Okay. This gentleman right here, this guy right here, he conservative, obviously, said he's been a lifelong conservative, American Latino, puts together some very, very well, facts about, Trump and being an outsider. And Donald Trump will tell you, hey, look, he played the political game when he was outside the political arena, obviously. He's a businessman, right? But in New York City, like he said, Donald Trump had to deal with both Democrats, had to cozy up to him, had to be friendly, had to cozy up to Republicans. And you know what? He probably gave money to both sides, right? That's just the way it is. You play the political game, the legal game, the way it is. And that's exactly what it is. And just because he had money, and like you said, you know what you said, you took $1 million loan from his dad. Okay, well, guess what? Not everybody is that privileged to have a father being able to loan or lend your son or their son or daughter or, family member some money to go start a business. But he did. What's the difference between, let's say, some not a multimillionaire, but a family that's out there, saves some money and tells their children, says, you know what, I'm going to give you some money. We'll mortgage a house. We'll do something. Let's put together some money and let's go ahead and I want you to start a business. And they do that for their son or daughter. What's the difference there? Now, they start that business gets to be, going strong. They expand that business. All of a sudden, they're providing jobs and opportunities in their community, their town, their city, or whatever. It gets to be a fairly large size or middle sized business. Maybe they're employing, 30, 40, 50, 60 people in town. All of a sudden, he decides to run for office, local, and then, gets elected and continue. So that's, like, say, an average, normal, everyday American citizen, from middle America or whatever, doing that. And it's same opportunity to get up that scale. The only difference is, Trump got there a lot faster in terms of, because of name recognition. But that's what they were saying is that, he is an outsider. He's not a polished politician. And I don't think we want someone we don't want an ambassador. Okay. We don't want a diplomat in the White House. Now you can be diplomatic, but we don't want a diplomat always acquiescing, always trying to find, some reason to become subservient to someone else because you want to be liked. And that's usually what ambassadors are trying to do. They're trying to, hold together something and be nice, the niceties of it. Sometimes you have to be harsh. Sometimes you have to make the tough decisions. And you need a politician that's strong. You need a leader, actually. So Trump is a leader. I wouldn't basically call him a politician, but he is in the political arena. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Comment down below what you think of this. This was part 1 of the Vice debates. And this was Latin Americans in the United States of America, both here legally and illegally, and conservative or are they liberal? Folks, I'll leave with my final thought, which is when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. See you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.